Hey, it's Erin. I'm so excited because today I'm sharing my current legs and glutes workout with you. I know you're thinking, what's the big deal, Stern? You share your workouts with us every single week. Yes and no. So you may or may not know, but I used to compete in figure. That's what all these trophies are for. And I recently switched to bikini, which is a completely different division and has completely different physique requirements. So in that switch, I've had to pare down my upper body and build up my lower body. So that means I have not trained upper body in over a year. So when you see videos of me training upper body, I'm doing that for you. I'm using pretty light weights and of course showing proper form. And these are workouts that I would typically do if I was training upper body, but I can't train upper body. So I'm currently training legs and glutes 3 to 4 times a week, with 2 of those sessions being heavy and low rep, and 1 to 2 sessions higher reps, lower weight, or even body weight. Today's workout is going to be heavy, low rep, and we're gonna smash it out. So let's go train. Our first exercise is hip thrust, and here's the setup. So I've got the bar pad, then I've got a standard bench and a 45-pound plate on the opposite side. This is going to help keep that bench in one place and make it safer. Let's get set up to do this hip thrust. So I'm going to sit in front of the bench, placing the pad across my hips, upper back, right up against that bench. I've got my legs under the bar, and I'm making sure that the bar is exactly even as I'm rolling it up, getting my legs into position and hoisting that bar up. Now with the hip thrust, of course, you want your upper back on the bench. You want to make sure your lower legs are perpendicular to the floor. This is going to help keep those hamstrings out of the equation. Keep my chin tucked. This is also going to help with keeping the back flat. I like to focus on really holding that squeeze at the top and getting full extension. So I want to make sure that your body forms a table at the top, pushing the weight through the heels. And upper body is just simply stabilizing the bar. So you're not exerting your upper body at all here. I really get that squeeze. We're going to go 4 sets of 8 here. And make sure you go all the way down. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze at the top. It's so important. And you should be hinging at the hips, making sure you keep your back nice and flat. Next exercise is a Zercher Squat. Here I've got the squat sponge, and I'm making sure that I've grabbed the bar evenly. That bar is going to rest in the crook of the elbow. Keep your feet about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider, upper body nice and tall. I really love the Zercher Squat. It's one of the most difficult squat variations, but it's also back safe. So it really encourages proper form. You can also do this on the Smith machine if you'd like. Keep your chest up, keep your core tight. I like to think about pushing my knees out on the way up, not letting them cave. I'm going to do 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps here. And I tend to be longer in the torso, and traditional squats would have me lean forward too much. So this is a great way to keep your upper body nice and tall. If you have a long torso or long femurs, the Zercher Squat can be a really good option. Moving on to a 45-degree back hyper. This is another heavy exercise. So typically my first few exercises are going to be heavy. And here I've got a 45-pound plate, and make sure that thigh pad is below your hip crease so you can get proper extension here. Now, this might look a little silly because I'm really rounding my upper back on the way up, but this really hits the glutes. You want to think about tilting your pelvis forward, rounding your back, and really squeezing at the top. You can turn your toes out just a little bit if you'd like. This can help with recruiting those glutes, but this turtle looking position at the mid-rep point is really, really effective. So give it a try. I think you'll find the same. Yes, it does look silly, but we're looking at hypertrophy and developing those glutes. You're also going to hit the hamstrings a little bit, and you're stabilizing with the lower back. But this particular position is going to really help isolate those glutes. And I've got my feet down a little bit lower versus all the way up on the platform. And this is another way that you can help recruit the glutes. But play around with different variations and see which one works best for you. Next, we're moving on to an offset lunge. Holding the dumbbell on the opposite side of the working leg. And this is really great for recruiting those glutes. And you want to think about the non-working leg as just kind of participating. It's not helping push off. You're not really using it for anything other than, of course, standing on. So that working leg, control that eccentric or negative motion and really push through the heel on the way up. And pushing through the heel versus pushing through the toe or pulling with that rear leg is going to further hit those glutes and hamstrings. Keep the upper body nice and tall. And like with any single leg or unilateral exercise, make sure that when you switch that you're performing it exactly the same on the other side. So upper body nice and tall, core tight, focus on the same distance steps each time. You want your knees to form 90-degree angles at the bottom of that rep or mid-rep point. Really important. And again, push through the heels and push yourself up and back. And if you usually use 2 dumbbells, or if you hold the dumbbell on the other side, you'll find that this variation is very effective. We're going to do 3 sets of about 15 reps on each side. Going to do a little isolation or detail work. This is a cable abductor. And don't neglect the abductors when you're doing your glute training, because this is really going to help build that upper glute shelf, as they call it. But you're working those abductors. You're also hitting gluteus minimus and glute med, and these are all the upper glute muscles. So you want to make sure that you're rounding everything out and creating that perfect peach, if you will. So here I'm starting on my weaker side and really paying attention to how this is set up. So you want that bench exactly in the middle of the cable machine. I've got my leg, my non-working leg, over the cable. This is for stabilization. Now when I switch, I sit at a 45-degree angle, so it's pretty easy to replicate from left side to right side. And you can change the angle here too. So if you lean back a little bit more, you're going to hit those upper glutes. By sitting upright, you're going to hit right around the middle. If you lean forward, you're actually going to hit more of the lower glutes. So depending on what you're working on, you can change the angle of your upper body or change the angle of your lean and hit different areas of those glutes. So here we're going to do 3 sets of 15 to 18 reps on each side. So not heavy. This is detail work. If you try this workout and you love it, please tag me on social media. I really enjoy seeing you take the exercises and make them your own. One thing to note is that heavy is relative. I've been doing these exercises for a number of years now. When I started, I often used body weight or just the bar until I got proper form down, and then I was able to add weight as I progressed. So if you're comparing what I'm normally lifting to what you lift, it's not a great idea. The muscles don't know what weight is on the bar, muscles only know what's challenging. So continue to challenge yourself. Use weight that's heavy yet doable for the last 2 to 3 reps, and always train smart and train safe. Thanks for watching. Until next time, train hard, y'all.